Yeah, for sure. Jaron, you see what you're looking at. I mean, this is everything that they use to show what the flat Earth should be. They use Euclidean geometry. They draw like orthographic straight lines.
Of course.
From our eyes, infinite.
Even though we know we don't see that way.
First of all, no one can see infinitely, so like an infinite line is not going to explain in any way what we're seeing that's stupid on his face, right? Like, and then we see with curved eyes, everything's curved. Rectilinear lens curved.
Right.
Every lens is curved. Cameras imitate the eyes. That's how we made cameras.
And there's still not a camera as good as the eye.
No, I've debunked the globe with my eye so many times, dude. So that's the crazy part. You don't even need a camera.
When you're dealing with long distances, atmospherics start playing a huge role in what you're seing. They just do.
Right, and that's something people were not taught. They weren't taught that you can't see across the ocean, not because the Earth's a sphere, but because there's atmosphere there. we know you can't see through 200 miles of atmosphere. Yet people like Bill Nye will be, why can't we see Spain from the east coast of the United States? That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
Because Portugal is first. I always say that.
I don't even know that, see?
Yeah, I mean, no, but this type of simulation, I really mentioned a lot of times before, they are not producing or trying to simulate a ray trace. So this is just drawings.
Right.
It's not based on any, at least tiny piece of code trying to imitate the light behavior. This is not ray trace. Here you are not simulated anything. You are just pretend that you are simulated. But it's not an actual physical simulation of how light behave in nature. In fact, if you use ray trace, which is one of the best method that it's been produced in computer graphics, you are far, far away from reality. Very far away from reality. You cannot even produce the type of real, simulation or observation that you showed before. The guy with this tiny piece of plastic on the ground, simulating the temperature changes and things like that. You cannot even reproduce that with ray trace, because there is no any particular software that computes so-called atmospheric factors. You need to create like a piece of glass, like I showed so many times in the past. You need to create something that behaves like a glass, and then you start playing with the index of refraction in these ray trace render engines, and you trying to match what you see first in nature. That is something that I completely agree with Kyle, because for new experiments, you need to have something to compare in the first place. That is why there is no science in the space, because nobody can go there, and we don't have any to compare in the real life with things in space. Nobody touch a piece of stars and saying that the star is like a sun and is burning, or is you don't have the actual comparison. So you are not playing with the with the correct cards, if you want to think that way. I hope you understand what I'm saying.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, but like so the Atmos, you guys agree the Atmos is just basically adding an additional lens. It's like exaggerating the lens. It's like putting like layers of glasses in front of your eyes.
Yep, absolutely. Depending on humidity and other factors, but yes.
But here's the thing: so refraction would happen the most when there's no atmospheric conditions, or when it's murky and changing atmospheric conditions.
Lensing would happen the most when it's humid.
Right. Okay. So the problem with that is we see further when the air is clean, when it's cool, when there's no. Okay. So that's when we see further. But they crank up the refraction when we see things further, which would mean that the air is more murky when it's not. So it's a complete misnomer. It's completely opposite of what it would be. Why are we seeing further when it's clear out, which means that there is no refraction? But they have.
That's why they don't like to talk about humidity. They just talk about the temperature differential alone.
Like nothing else
really
exists.
Like humidity.
Right. And then they say that we're not allowed to make observations over water, when the observations over the water would be the most difficult for us. But the reason that they're not is because when you get the cleared, that's how you have a flat baseline to look across. Otherwise, you're having to deal with undulating terrain. So it's so obvious to me what they're doing. And the fact that they can't see it is baffling to me.